The EMH in Star Trek's next show is Voyager's original Doctor 800 years later, and I love what this means. Star Trek has never been afraid to push the boundaries of time, identity, and evolution, and now it's done it again in the most unexpectedly heartwarming way. The news that Star Trek's next series will feature the emergency medical hologram, Voyager's beloved EMH returning 800 years after his last appearance, is not only a stroke of genius, it's also a deeply emotional celebration of Star Trek's most overlooked but enduring character arcs. For fans of Star Trek, Voyager, the EMH, also known simply as the Doctor, was a revelation. Originally intended to be a temporary medical protocol, he evolved into one of the most emotionally complex and human characters on the show. Voiced and embodied by Robert Picardo with a perfect blend of dry wit and moral weight, the Doctor gave us everything from cutting critiques of sentient rights to full-blown operatic performances. And now, in Star Trek, Prodigy's far future setting confirmed to take place in the 32nd century. Aligning with the Discovery timeline, the return of this hologram speaks volumes, not just about his durability, but about how much the Federation has changed and what it still holds dear. The EMH was always more than a program. When the Doctor was first activated in Voyager, he was designed to be a short-term solution. But isolation, necessity, and endless upgrades allowed him to grow, learn, and develop his own sense of self. He adopted hobbies, developed romantic feelings, made ethical decisions beyond his programming, and even campaigned for holographic rights. What began as a character born of utility became a mirror for humanity. The Doctor questioned what it means to be alive long before Star Trek. Picard tackled the issue with synthetic life. He was an AI long before it was trendy, arguably Star Trek's earliest and most enduring answer to the ethical dilemmas now dominating the real-world conversation about artificial intelligence. So his survival, his continuation, into the 32nd century feels less like fan service and more like a long overdue acknowledgement that the Doctor matters. 800 years of growth. What has he become? The prospect of an EMH surviving 800 years isn't just cool sci-fi speculation. It raises fascinating questions. Is this still the same hologram we knew on Voyager? Or is this a version that has been refined and reshaped over centuries? Either way, the legacy of the original EMH clearly lives on. It opens the door to a treasure trove of storytelling possibilities. Perhaps the EMH has become a mythic figure in the history of medicine. Perhaps he's trained countless doctors, or helped preserve knowledge through Federation collapses and rebirths. Maybe he's more than a doctor now. Maybe he's a historian, an ambassador, a walking museum of memory. He was once a hologram struggling for identity. Now, he may be the Federation's living memory, a symbol of how far technology and personhood have come. A love letter to Voyager's legacy. In many ways, this is also a tribute to Voyager itself, a show that has sometimes been overshadowed by The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. But Voyager's themes of isolation, perseverance, and evolution feel more relevant than ever in the new Star Trek landscape. Bringing back the EMH honors those themes. Voyager was about a crew adapting to a new reality, just as the 32nd Century Federation is trying to rebuild and rediscover itself. It makes perfect sense that a piece of Voyager's heart would find its way into this era. And let's not forget the emotional impact. Seeing or hearing Robert Picardo reprise this role, even in voice form, will undoubtedly tug at the heartstrings of longtime fans. He's more than a nostalgia nod. He's a living legacy. Star Trek's optimism, reaffirmed. Perhaps what's most beautiful about this twist is what it says about Star Trek's long-term optimism. The fact that something as intangible as a hologram, a digital being, could survive not only physically but philosophically for 800 years is a hopeful idea. It implies that the Federation never gave up on the rights of synthetic life. That progress was made. That memory was preserved. That stories, even artificial ones, matter. In a time where many sci-fi franchises lean into dystopia, Star Trek's choice to revisit a character like the EMH, who always represented curiosity, creativity, and compassion, is a refreshing reminder of its enduring idealism. The Doctor's journey isn't over. The EMH once asked whether he was a tool or a person. Starfleet never gave him a simple answer. Instead, it gave him time. And now, 800 years later, That time has turned him into something incredible. Whether he appears as a mentor to new cadets, a relic of the past with wisdom to